Hey guys, Billy Davidson here with Davidson Pressure Washing and Painting. Thanks for joining us in the video. If you'd like to see more of these type of videos, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Anyway, you'll be notified the next time we upload a pressure washing video. So in this video, we are cleaning a metal church roof. This is actually not the main building of the church, but this was more like their community hall where they had some offices. I believe like a daycare center was also in this building. It was approximately 12,000 square foot of roof area. I think the building itself was right at 10,000 square foot. And then once we figured in the dihedral of it and the overhang, we was looking right around 12,000 square foot, give or take a few hundred square feet. I wasn't trying to get too accurate with it. Now in this video, we're going to talk about a few things such as how we did the job, what we used to clean it, some of our difficulties, and also if you would like to know exactly how much we charge for this 12,000 square foot metal roof, go ahead and click on the description, and way down at the bottom of that description, you'll see a price that we charge, and then you can kind of figure this out and see if your area, maybe there's some churches in your area that could perhaps use your services. So first thing first, I know a lot of guys are going to want to know how we landed this job, and actually I landed it with a yard sign. I have always found that yard signs is an incredible way to market your business, so long as you're using the correct yard sign, the correct size, the correct color, and also putting those yard signs in the right place means the world. If that's something you need a little bit of help on, check out the description. There'll be some information in there for you. On this roof cleaning job, we're using a soft wash skid from Southeast Soft Wash. He has developed some phenomenal equipment down there for reasonable prices. He's located in Alabama, guys. If that's something y'all looking for, look him up. He'll be happy to give you a hand on a soft wash skid. Now, we used to batch mix all this stuff, and it used to tear my hands up and get on my pants and eat my clothes up. Now I don't never even have to touch the bleach, and man, that is so much easier on this. So we just roll our hose off, dial it up, and start spraying. So on this job, I knew it was a metal roof, and I knew that the metal is just gonna not be too clingy to our surfactant and our sodium hypochlorite. So I went a little bit strong on our sodium hypochlorite. Usually I'll shoot a roof around 6%. On this job, I elected to push that back up a little bit stronger, around at 8%, just because I wanted to have that contact with that metal roof, and I knew that our dwell time was going to be very limited because it just rolls right off. So whatever hit the roof, I wanted it to be fairly hot. Now, it was a cool, overcast day. Now, I probably wouldn't recommend doing that on a very hot summer sunny day when the roof is like extremely hot. Putting a really hot sodium hypochlorite up there could cause you some other issues. So always use caution whenever you're using anything really hot like an 8%. 6% really, I was going to take several applications if I would have went as low as a 6% on a metal roof. So that's why I dialed it up and I started getting instant results with it. Now that being said, you better be on your pre-wet game. Something like this using 8%, I mean, you could really nuke the ground, the yard, and everything else. I have seen it where you burn the grass and the sod several feet back away from the building. So your pre-wet game better be on par. So basically what we did, we had our soft wash skid doing the roof, but also I had the other 8 gallon per minute on about 60 or 70% power. So you can kind of figure that out, being about 6 gallons a minute, pre-wetting everything. And what we did before we sprayed our first drop of sodium hypochlorite on this metal roof, we started pre-wetting for about 15 minutes, all in that area, right on that drip edge, right where you know that sodium hypochlorite is going to roll off the roof and make contact with the ground. And this roof didn't have any gutters, so that made it a little bit more challenging. But right on that drip edge, we just flooded it for long periods of time before we sprayed our first drop of sodium hypochlorite. Now, as we were spraying the sodium hypochlorite and we were getting the activation on the roof, all of that was just coming down. We could see it in the water, the algae that the sodium hypochlorite was lifting off of the metal roof. We could see it in the water, so we were also intercepting that water before it even hit the ground with approximately 6 gallons a minute with our pressure hose. And that really makes a difference. Basically, we were diluting it as it hit the ground and even before it was hitting the ground. Now, also what you got to be careful for, when that sodium hypochlorite rolls off of that metal roof, it has some velocity because there's just no parasite drag on the metal to slow it down. So even using a lot of surfactant, you don't get great results even with that. So it's just a matter of putting a hot mix up there and letting it do its thing, and then having to go back and re-hit some of those spots that need a little more attention. But also you got to make sure that sodium hypochlorite doesn't roll off that roof with such velocity and impact the ground and splatter back on the building in an undiluted form. At that point, you start to remove paint. But that being said, also the drip edge on that metal roof, sometimes the water tension, the surface tension of the water can cause that water to go back towards the building and actually travel upside down and contact the fascia. Now, if the fascia is a painted fascia, an 8% mix would touch that fascia and could perhaps start blotching up or remove the paint. So to mitigate those issues, we keep that drip edge right under that lip also wet, keeping it diluted anytime the sodium hypochlorite touches it. Now, again, I must say the hardest part of this job was doing the mitigation for plant and property protection. Otherwise, we could have got the roof clean in a fraction of the time, but we would have killed all the grass, probably stripped some paint. And then behind this fence right here, there are some HVAC units. Those had to not be covered up because the building was occupied with people in there, so we couldn't turn off the units to cover them up. But we did divert that water running off of that, the sodium hypochlorite running off the roof with water, basically intercepted it before it hit the HVAC system and could cause any damage with it. Now, that being said, your air conditioner units and the mechanical stuff along these buildings don't need to have that sodium hypochlorite sit on it, even in a diluted form. So even after intercepting it with our fresh water hose, when we're done with it, we continued to let more like a mist or a rainfall fall into those units and rinse them out. That's really important. I've seen where guys did not rinse those units off after the job and completely rust them out. So rinsing them good is a very good idea, and also it's property protection, so you don't get an insurance claim later down the road.
How much is activated so far?
And another challenging circumstance that we were dealing with while cleaning this roof was the wind. Now, the 12-volt system is perfect for a lot of applications. In this case, I wish I had a little bit more power. But that being said, if I'd have been able to throw more sodium hypochlorite on the roof, it probably would have been a little bit faster. But then I would have been trying to mitigate the runoff. So I don't know, if we putting out about 3 or 4 gallons per minute out the tip. We did have to get on the step ladder most of the time to try to reach the peak. That being said, if I'd had a gas power system, I could have probably thrown a ton of bleach up there and it probably would have burnt a ton of grass. So I don't know, it's, one way or the other, to each his own. I think in the future, I'm going to stay with my 12-volt system. I did not want to do this on a windy day, but we had it scheduled out 2 weeks in advance. And so we got out there, and guess what? The wind starts blowing. So if that's ever happened to you, please leave a comment. Describe your situation. I would love to read about it. It always seems like that happens to us. But, again, if I'd have had a much more powerful system, I would have probably been laying down a lot more bleach and burnt everything in town. So, it worked out for us. Other than that, a couple other things I want to mention real quick before I let you go. I did rinse part of this roof along the drip edge where there was pedestrian walkway. So remember that, guys. If you're doing a metal roof and there's no gutters, at least rinse those spots where, next morning they come into work, it's dripping from the dew or the condensation overnight, and it could be dripping on them as they walk under the breezeway or whatever. So rinse those sections. Otherwise, all the other sections, I didn't rinse them. Figured just let Mother Nature rain on it at some point and take care of it. And so we went back a couple of days later to pick up the check. and the roof looked fantastic, and they actually sent us on to do several other of their properties. And so that was a good deal off of your 1 yard sign. We made a lot of money. So again, if you want to find out exactly how much we made, check the description. Again, guys, if y'all need any help with some of these yard sign strategies, please check the description for that as well. I'm Billy Davidson here with Davidson Pressure Washing Painting. Thanks for watching the video, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.